Welcome to New Earth Activations with Rena. I've done a couple videos this past few days. I don't know exactly how many, but they weren't uploaded after I had uploaded it. I don't know what happened to it. It just never made it. And besides, when I was talking, I saw lightning, so I thought I didn't try to re-upload it. If it didn't work, I wasn't going to try to do it again. And then I went to do it somewhere else, and it told me I only had 10 minutes. And that video was longer than 10 minutes. I never heard of that before. You have a time limit in order, like how many minutes you can talk. It's nuts. I'm still doing my own sessions with my own teacher, and I have a job on top of that, and I do other things on top of that. So, and the last video that I was doing, no, because that was last night. That was with the moon. The moon's beautiful. That one wasn't uploaded, but there was one that I had uploaded where it sounded like someone had shot my tire, because I went out in nature to do it. I wanted to get away from the buildings and the city lights and just go out in nature. And I don't know if there was just a bunch of people out there having fun with the BB gun or what the situation was, but my tire just exploded. I also did overfill it with air, and it had a bubble in it, but it was fine. I drove it all over the place, and then when I drove it there, it was just, parked, and the sound was so loud it sounded like someone shot it, and that was it. So I do these videos, and then I think I have some privacy to do them, and then, as you can hear, somebody's walking by playing that. In the middle of my video. And the one that I tried to record, that I was working on recording last night, I was almost to the woods, and I just thought that where I was at, the location was great, but there were, before I got to the woods, there was a couple houses, and one of the people had freaked out and was asking me if I was okay, interrupting me, and saw that I was speaking on the phone and overreacted instead of being polite and not saying a word until I was finished. Then she runs up to me today and said, "Oh, you were filming the moon, or you were doing this, you were doing that." And was more than happy to talk to me today after she had flew off the handle last night about me filming in front of her house before I got to the woods. I was in the middle of the street. So that video never made it because it wouldn't upload. And I recently had a live session with my own teacher. And I didn't know it was going to turn out like that. I didn't really I really didn't have time to look into how it was going to happen or the way it was going to happen or what was going to happen, but it was a surprise that it happened that way. And when I had started with her, I told her that I intend to do every session she has, take this seriously. I wasn't going to half-ass it or just be in and out. And I've stayed true to that because it was really important to me, and not even knowing why. Not knowing anything about anything when I stepped into it. I mean, I stepped into something I knew absolutely nothing about. I couldn't talk to anyone about it either. I just kept going with it anyway. Well, the session I had just had was powerful. And she always seems to outdo herself with every session. And she is I can't even put it into words. She is that incredible for I mean, with every session I ever had, it's been it's unpredictable, and it is, it always blows my mind because she is like beyond supernatural. She's beyond, anything I've ever met. Well, you do have the ascended masters, and she is pretty powerful. She is it's like you can't compare one to the other. You know, when I think about her, then I think about Jesus, and I think about this, and I don't know, you just have to experience it for yourself. And I highly recommend that you do get someone to train with. To do this on your own alone is just impossible. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for and how far you want to go. But for me, I was all in from day one, and I have no intention of quitting because there's so much I don't know, I feel. And I'm always learning something new all the time. And in the very beginning, something was said that I just couldn't wrap my mind around. Said, oh, that's just a bunch of nonsense. That was the one thing I couldn't buy into or believe. And then today, yesterday, was it yesterday? What's today? I don't know, maybe 2 days ago. She said something that I still don't really understand. Because now this is the second time I've heard this. But the first time I heard it was through another message. In a different way. And now she mentioned it again, all this time later. And I can't, and I'm thinking, how is that even possible? I'm telling you right here and right now, if you receive a message and it's about spirituality and you don't take it seriously and you choose to look the other way or think that it's not important, you are only hurting yourself. If you think what's going on in your physical reality is more important than dropping everything and taking your life spiritually, seriously, and you want to put the spirituality on the back burner, ask your heart if that's serving your highest and best. You're not going to hear about this through elementary school, junior high school, or whatever. You're going to hear about this through the people that have already been through it. And then you want to hear the crazies, if I may. I really didn't really want to say that, but I had another word for it. So probably shouldn't have said that. So because they're paranoid. They're afraid of this information getting out. They're scared shitless that there are many of us who are committed and dedicated and devoted to this work. And we are not going to be silenced. Nor are we going to keep it to ourselves. We can only tell you so much within every session. Now, you have other people who want to make fun about these sessions. Well, like I said, you can't compare your life to someone else's. You don't know what their experience is. And you can just look at someone and tell how serious are they about what they do. Now, I didn't just jump into this so that I could be all about me, and then try to do whatever. No. I dedicated my life to spirituality. I've been on top of it ever since. And if you want to overlook these messages, like it's not important or nothing, just because maybe you've never heard of me, or nobody's ever introduced me, doesn't mean it's any less important than someone who is well known. Because like I've said before, there are many who have worked in secret, in private, who you don't even know about unless you're doing the work. And they chose to do that. And I totally get it and understand why. But how many people are grateful to those who have done that for this planet? How often are they thanked or remembered? For all that they have done for this planet and beyond. If you truly want to free yourself from the establishment, and from the buffoons that are trying to keep you under their thumb and where they want you so that you don't wake up and go within and know yourself, well then, what kind of life do you think you're in for if you choose to refuse to wake up and to take these messages seriously? And when I do reach out to others, I say things that maybe it might be a short message. However, you did receive the message. If you overlooked it and didn't think it was that important, that's on you. But I know this, I cared enough about you to give you that information. So that you too can be free. And if you don't know what that means, you need to find out. And if you think it's just about financials, no. Because there are a lot of rich people who are not free. If you're all about the money, you're definitely not free. If you've never done anything spiritual. There's a whole other world you know not about. In fact, there are many. And there are worlds going on right next to you that you don't even see because you're not vibrating the way you should be. In order for you to see that, you need to vibrate higher. And if you know nothing about your own vibration, and you know nothing about your alignment, don't you think it's time you do? Now, there are a lot of us on this planet. You have to make the decision who you're going to choose to train with. No way you can do this by yourself. I couldn't do it by myself because there's a whole bunch of stuff I didn't know. And if you truly love yourself, nothing tops on the face of this earth what this will do for you. Guaranteed. And, I've stayed on top of my word with God. Excuse me. There's a whole lot of things I'd like to say, but I think I better not. That'll be for privates or people that really want to know. Now, I was also asked the question, what is your contribution to humanity? I thought I was doing it. I thought I was doing it before I stepped into doing this work, because I was doing it and not even knowing that I was doing it, and then I was doing it, and when you're doing it, you're in service to all. Okay. Now, let me be honest. I did work on this planet nobody wanted to do. Now, if I didn't do that, it wouldn't have gotten done, and we wouldn't be where we are. And let me tell you, you might not see it or know it, but we are in a much better place than where we were. And like I said, I am here to defend and protect the light. That's one of the That's not all, though. Now, I don't know how much you know about spirits. We have all kinds here, right? So, if you're around a bunch of people that have done nothing spiritually ever in their life, how can you trust them with your life? Or with anything for that matter? How about that for truth? And they are losing it. The ones who aren't of the light, because they would rather me stay quiet or not say anything. But it doesn't matter what they do. They have no power against me. And in fact, coming for me, they lose everything. And the life they wanted me to live will be the life they live. I didn't come in here to try to do anything to anybody. I just followed my heart and listened to the messages. Even when I didn't have a clue as to what I was doing. And still kept doing it anyway. And thank God I stayed true to it and didn't quit. But you can tell by my voice how serious I am. you also can tell that I've experienced it for myself. What's that worth to you? And could you do work that nobody else on this planet wanted to do? And then I hear, oh, there's people trying to be me. There's only one me on the face of this earth, and if someone's... Well, I don't want to go into all those details, but I assure you I know what's going on. Anyway, I think that's all I'm going to say about that. If you want any other information, you can email me. Real quick about what's happening on the West Coast in California. I don't really know what's going on. I only just saw a snippet. I didn't even see a snippet. I saw a picture. And today, someone was talking to someone, and I thought, well, these people have no business hurting or harming the earth. I don't know what started what or what's going on there. But if you don't have any control over your emotions, and you're lashing out and you're hurting yourself, and worse, you're destroying, I hope you're not hurting nature. Like, I don't really know what's going on there, but that's no way to carry on. It's not a good example, and it's not a good role model. In fact, I don't know why they didn't put their heads together to try to figure out a solution. Because the way they're all carrying on is not a solution. In fact, it's not too bright. And they should be ashamed of themselves for how they're carrying on. You have families, children watching you carry on like that. Is that a good example? Is that a good role model? What are you doing? Think about that. Look at it from that angle. They should just try to pull themselves together to find a solution, rather than carry on like that. It doesn't make them look good on any level, no matter what happened. Because I could tell you what I've been through, and you'd be scratching your head as to why you're carrying on like that. Okay, end it. I just saw something, so that settles that. So let's do a quick activation. And just sit for a moment and breathe. And listen to the leaves blowing in the wind. You ever go look at the trees at night? It's like you had walked into a storybook. Just listen to them. And then you hear I don't know what they are. I'm not really sure if it's a cricket or what it is. Rather than get all dramatic, it's better to sit in stillness and go within. And see what solutions you can find there. Drink plenty of water. Have a shower. Spend lots of time in nature. Ground yourself. And write down anything you've noticed, or if you'd like to share, you can email me or put it in the description box below. If you'd like me to do an energy reading, you can send me a photo. And if you have any questions or comments, you can also email me. Please like, share, and subscribe. The more people that do this, the better. There's this cute little bird. It's been hanging out for the past while. And the cats are sleeping. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.